I'm okay. Whew. You alright there? Yes, thank you. So, hello, we are here reporting from your favorite TV station, XYZ. I'm Slim, and I'm pretty shady.
And I'm Penny Applebottom.
So today in current news, that's your...
Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice.
So hello people, here we are again, and today you'll be learning over the layers of the atmosphere. So here we have the troposphere, and that's where the weather occurs. The stratosphere absorbs most of the UVs from the sun's radiation and is 90% ozone. Very important. The mesosphere is the coldest part on Earth. You wouldn't want to be there. The thermosphere is where it shuttles, orbit. You know, we have a lot of shuttles nowadays. A lot of people living there. We really gotta get rid of all that trash that is there. And then you have your exosphere with outer space. Here we are reporting back to you from XYZ, the news of the future. And today we're going to be talking about the stratosphere, where the ozone is, where we are currently right now, as you can tell.
As you learned just right now, the stratosphere the ozone layer absorbs most of the UVs from the sun's radiation, but without this, the natural sunscreen known as Earth's ozone layer absorbs and blocks the majority of sun's UV rays, and without it, all radiation would damage DNA or plants and animals, causing them to die.
So you can possibly die if you do not do anything.
Protect our ozone.
Protect it with all your heart. As we will be showing you a little segment of what people are doing to help the ozone layer we are currently in. Thank you.
Hi, you're back with XYZ's Penny Applebottom. We're talking about the greenhouse effect. Excuse me, what are you doing?
My name's Jeff.
Okay, as I was saying, Jeff. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that warms the Earth during the day, and the sun shines through the atmosphere, causing the Earth to warm up. Meanwhile, during the night, the Earth cools, heating that traps at night. Okay. You're very distracting, but I'll work with it.
My name's Jeff.
With global climate change, such as the greenhouse effect, you have El Nino events are associated with a warming of the Sunshine Eastern Tropical Pacific, while La Nina is the opposite. It's roles reversed. Cooling occurs on the same areas, and these changes in the Pacific Ocean and its overlying atmosphere occur in a cycle known as ENSCO.
And I'm back.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you, Penny.
I guess we're done with this segment.
Okay.
So Penny, I knew you had to mention something else about how we can tell the changes in climate.
Yes. To help us understand climate over the past, we can use ice cores, trees cores, ocean sediments, and coral. For example, ice cores are pieces of a glacier that are taken out from ice, and they can tell us what past climates were like, and we can compare them to new ones. Good to know.
Thank you. That's Interesting. Very interesting.
It's very interesting how the past can connect to the future.
Yeah, it's like I look at my past and I'm haunted. I'm scared. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't like the past. No technology. Boo.
Yeah. Modern day future.
Yeah, it's all about the future today. The good stuff.
Yeah, holograms.
Yeah, holograms. Although today we really figured we'd make an appearance,
Yeah.
make people go, wow, scare them like, wow. So yeah. Here we are reporting live to you from Paradise City. And today we'll be having a special guest talking about the positive feedback loops on climate change. Do you want to add anything?
Well, I think you'll enjoy this very special guest speaker.
Enjoy.
First of all, what do positive feedback loops do? Well, they enhance or amplify changes which tend to move a system away from equilibrium and make it unstable. One example would be the increase in temperature, which boosts the melting of the ice caps, which leads to increased sea levels. These increased sea levels of seawater would have devastating effects on coastal habitats, for example, destructive erosion, wetland flooding, aquifer and agricultural contamination, and lost habitats for local flora and fauna. Yes, I'm good.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we are live, exerting temperature changes. Today we have a multi-speaker speaking about temperature changes. Off to you.
Temperature has been on the rise steadily for the past several decades, but it has never risen faster than now because of the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect causes the atmosphere to retain heat. The process occurs when water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane absorb energy, slowing or preventing the loss of heat to space. In this way, GHGs act like a blanket, making Earth warmer than it would be otherwise. And because of this, the greenhouse effect causes the temperature to rise a lot. And that's the blanket surrounding Earth, and that's the heat being retained. And the blanket is composed of GHGs, which are, like I said, water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane.
Here we are recording to you live from Niagara Falls. And today we're going to be having our motivational speaker, multi-speaker, and philosopher talking to us about a real-life example of precipitation.
As for changes in precipitation, average U.S. precipitation has been on the increase since 1900. But there are regional differences, with some areas having higher increases and others decreases. More winter and spring precipitation is projected for northern U.S. and less for the southwest. For example, Sacramento, California's 1981 to 2010 average precipitation of 18.52 inches dropped by 9.99 inches, making the city's 2015 average 8.53 inches. On the other hand, in St. Louis, Missouri's 1981 to 2010 average, precipitation of 40.96 increased by 20.32, making the city's 2015 average precipitation 61.28. This is evidence that the northern U.S. is receiving more rain and the southwest U.S. is receiving less rain.
Hi, I'm Penny Abelbottom, live from Under the Sea, and today we'll have our guest speaker talking about sea level changes.
Another effect of global climate change is the risen sea levels worldwide. Since reliable record keeping began in 1880, the global sea level has risen about 8 inches and is projected to rise another 1 to 4 feet by 2100. An example of rising sea levels would be the 12.5 inches the sea level has risen in Galveston, Texas. In the last 50 years, and 10.5 inches the sea level has risen in Norfolk, Virginia, also in the course of 50 years. For a fact, sea levels in the US are on the rise, which leads me to the next topic, the change in global ice.
So here we are reporting to you live from the North Pole, Santa Land, Elf Land, where you can get your gingerbreads, where frost is, anyone, Mother Nature, the bunny, the everyone, they're there. And we're having our speaker speak about the changes in global ice. Ice.
As a whole, the planet has been shedding sea ice at an average annual rate of 13,500 square miles since 1979. The equivalent of losing an area of sea ice larger than the state of Maryland every year. Finally, climate changes can affect the way living things behave. For example, plants are flowering earlier every year, and many animals are migrating northward or places with higher elevations as their habitats get warmer, and since migration rate of many species is insufficient to keep pace with the spread of climate change, they could be pushed to extinction in the future. Overall, studies worldwide have provided a clear, globally coherent conclusion. 21st century anthropogenic Overall, studies worldwide have provided a clear, globally coherent conclusion. 21st century anthropogenic global warming has already affected the world's biota.
Live from XYZ Studios, here is our presenter speaking about biota changes.
One example of a positive feedback loop would be the increase in temperature, which boosts the melting of ice caps, which leads to increased sea levels. These increased sea levels of seawater would have devastating effects on coastal habitats, for example, destructive erosion, wetland flooding, aquifer and agricultural contamination, and lost habitats for local flora and fauna. Reduced land.
Hello, and we're back. So, you may or may not have known, but we have fired Slim Shady. You see, Slim Shady was a bit shady, and they're cut out. So here I am today, your new reporter by day and hero by night. That's a secret. Do not tell anyone. If you do, I will find you. And when I do, I will probably not do anything because that's not in the hero code. But I will silence you. So there's that. This seems a little shaky right now. I know, it's just my superpowers. I'm just too strong, you know? So yeah, as you can see, being a hero brings a lot of things. It brings trophies. It brings an oil lamp with a genie inside. It brings my first camera since I've lived so long. So here we are today, XYZ, the news of the future, where every alien person is accepted in this world. So what I'd like to talk to you about today is a Monterey Protocol. It is something so amazing. a protocol, really. And it's brought so much to this world. It is the reason that we have gone so far and live to this day in the future. Thank you. Thank you to those who made this possible. I thank you. So as I was talking about, we were about to mention the Montreal Protocol. And it was finalized in 1987. It was a global thing, global agreement to protect the stratospheric ozone. Repeat it with me. Stratospheric ozone. And that was done, the Montreal Protocol, to phase down or lower down the production and consumption of ozone-depleting substances, or known as its acronyms, ODS. Remember that. So the ozone layer, as you know, filters out harmful UV radiation from the sun's rays. It does this to protect us, to protect all of us. It can cause, without it really, it can cause skin cancer, cataracts, you name it. Destruction will come to your body. Physical destruction. And you wouldn't want to live with a terrible tan that hurts all the time. I know. It's amazing. Yes, the tan may be beautiful, but it is not, okay? So without the ozone layer, we cannot do it. We cannot survive in this world. So what this protocol was set to do is to do that, to phase down the consumption of these substances such as the HFCs, and these are hydrofluorocarbons. And you also have the alternatives, which are HCFCs and CFCs. CFCs. I know what I'm talking about. So you have your HCFCs, and those are your hydrofluoro. Okay. Are we back? Okay. So, as I mentioned, your HCFCs are your hydrofluorocarbons. And then you have your HFCs, which are your chlorofluorocarbons. And that's what this does, really. That's what it's meant to do. So, as I said, we will continue with the protocols and accords that had gone on in the world in the past, which are currently in session, in mode. You know, they're still occurring, they're still naturally continuing, and it's become part of our natural lives, you know, and that was the main goal. So I'd like to inform you about this just right now. How about now? Let's start now. Now. Just give me a second. Okay. So here we have. I'm sorry. You can give me a second. I just need 1 second. My eyebrow itches. I'm sorry. It really does. Okay. So back to the protocols. I'm sorry. Like I mentioned before, crazy animals out there. I am so very deeply sorry about that. Anyways, back to the protocols here. We have the Kyoto Protocol. I am not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but there you go. The Kyoto Protocol was actually done in Japan. It is named by the city in Japan, which is Kyoto. However you say that. Anyways, it is an international argument which is linked to the United Nations on climate change, in which commits to reduce greenhouse gases emissions. In industrialized nations, you have those very industrialized nations, China, I know, its population producing so much, but India's coming up, and it's remained somewhat the same, but I can't lie, it's the future, right? There has been some problems that you will come to realize when the day comes, and I hope you get to live that long. Anywho, so you have your industrialized, and you have your less industrialized. I mean, why are you blaming the less industrialized if it's the problem of the industrialized, like it's their problem, not mine, like what are you gonna do about it? So you have that, and you have your Paris Accord, which is an agreement set out for a global action to put the world on track and avoid dangerous climate change by limiting global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Policies that restrict the use of carbon-based energy in America will kill jobs. And it will cause the economic growth to just stay still, to stay at a pause. I mean, who wants that, right? Who wanted that? I mean, money is what it's all about, right? I'm assuming. You have those politicians we learned in history, they're just greedy, needy, getting their big steaks. So yeah, this is bad for them, This is very bad for them, for their business. I don't know. Don't mean to mention people, and I won't. But there's someone that looks like a Cheeto. I don't know if you all know this person. President. Ring a bell? I don't know. Does it? Okay. In Syria and Nicaragua and the US have backed out of the Paris Agreement. Like, people, we are dying. Okay, maybe I took that too far. I'm sorry. But there's a change. Come on, people. I'm telling you, America only cares about money. And that's bad for me to say because I am from America. But this is the future, so as an American who had to pick up everyone's slack, everybody's lazy, we had to get rid of all the waste here on Earth, which we finally did, by the way. Thank you very much. That's it. That's all we have for the Monterey Protocol, the Kyoto, there you go, Protocol, and the Paris Accord. Now, the thing they all have in similarity is really that, they all wanted to do something. They had a goal in mind. Their goal was to either limit the emissions of carbon, limit the emissions of certain substances that are harmful to our ozone layer, things that limit the carbon offsets is a reduction of, carbon itself, carbon emissions, emissions of greenhouse gases. And
it's the future. Here we are, the news of the future.
Have a nice night.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Safe journey.
Hey guys, it's me, Victoria Justice, trying to bring justice to the world in terms of the environment. So I just wanted to say, guys, that we can do so many things. Something as simple as reusing, reducing, and recycling, making the change to alternative energy, wind power, solar panels, nuclear power plants. I prefer nuclear power, yeah. And honestly, in the long run, you save a lot of money. You can do immense stuff. It's amazing. And I just wanted to really stress that out, that you all guys know, because if that's what it is, And I really wanted to encourage you as a celebrity. What I plan to do is this whole organization that, thanks to the newscast there at XYZ, the news of the future, I get to do this. It's such an amazing opportunity to get to work with you guys. Basically, that's it. So I just want to say thank you, and I hope you guys really plan on joining. You can visit my website. It's victoriabringingjustice.org. And I also have my other website, which is Environmental Science Justice. So yeah, .gov.
before we leave, just exactly, I'd just like to get my genie lamp for a while and, rub it as hard as I can so I can wish for 1,000 wishes. And one of my first wishes is to pass this project. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll try to figure this out. Bye-bye.